Okay,
I don't
fine. Maybe
know.
you'll get
I
there.
don't know.
But
the first
I think
half
that
of the show
this
is
is
meh.
too black and white. I think. Okay, I will
Why are you
say.
seeing color?
I will.
what'd you say?
Honey, where are my pants?
Studs! Hello and welcome to the Where Are My Studs podcast. I am Brendan.
And I'm Aidan.
And today we have broken barriers. We are pushing the world to new places because by God Almighty, we have done it. We have a guest on today. Mr. Guest, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi guys, I'm Caleb, or better known as Blackwell Bricks on social medias, and I got invited to be on the podcast, so I figured why not? Please leave that in.
Aiden, Caleb, do you want to explain it all? Like, what is it you do in the Lego sphere?
Oh man, it kind of feels like, what do I not do? Like, I kind of do a bit of everything. I mock build, I make content, I travel to conventions, I buy and sell Lego. I kind of do a little bit of everything in the Lego space.
So for those that don't know, and I just want to make sure I'm right about this, but you quit your day job to do Lego full time. Am I right about that?
That is correct. I guess I can give you the little backstory of that testimony. So, about a year and 2 months ago, it was 2 weeks before Christmas. The company I was working for, they were like, guys, we got to have a meeting. So we said, okay, went in, and they were like, man, you guys are killing these numbers. You're hitting record sales, over 1 million a month, hitting records we've never seen in over 30 years here. But with all that being said, you're all overpaid. So we're cutting your pay in half.
Oh my God.
And it was completely crazy because we were commission based. So if I made more money, the company made more money. So it didn't make any sense for them to do that. And I did a lot of talking to friends and family that do similar line of work full time, doing Lego and stuff. And they were all like, dude, if you're ever going to attempt it, you might as well try to attempt it now. So I turned in my notice and they let me go on the spot, and God has just been opening the doors left and right for the last year and 2 months. And now I have a full studio and everything, get to travel to conventions and make content.
And how are you enjoying that?
Oh, bro, I mean, it's what I always dreamed of doing since I was little. I just never pictured it would actually become a reality.
So, Caleb, you also got married pretty recently. So how is starting this new job in space, which probably wasn't extremely lucrative at first. How's that been? Starting that off while also starting a marriage.
So we got engaged 1 week after I quit my job. So her whole family thought I was crazy at first, but I guess I'm seeing now that I am making it doable. It's been pretty cool. Katie's my biggest supporter. We've been married for about 4 to 5 months now, and I mean, it of course has its own little struggles of being homesick or want to be around your special person and all, but it's all working out the way it's supposed to, I believe.
And two of the Where Are My Studs podcast hosts were at that wedding. Should just make
Yeah,
mention.
Well, yeah.
all both of them, all both of them.
All both. We talked about it on
Oh, it was
I think
You guys
fun.
did. It was like two episodes.
episode 7. So
I'm glad you guys had such a good time at it, and that you enjoyed visiting the studio too.
Yeah, it was a
had you
good time.
even heard the story of me missing my flight until the podcast?
Dude, I did it. I was like, no way.
Yeah.
Stuck in Atlanta.
I'm sorry that happened.
Yeah, but it's fine. On second thought, I wish I would have just skipped all my classes and hung out in Atlanta for that day, because that would have been fun. But
Should have done. Well, you're making up for it. But so Caleb,
Yep.
I'm just like, I haven't gotten to. I'm really curious about this. It was something I'd been thinking about, knowing we were gonna record today's, and I know this is kind of out of nowhere, but like our whole entire theme of the podcast is Lego was better when we were kids. So I'm curious, like, what was like your favorite? I'm just gonna spew a few questions here, and you can kind of take it how you want. But like, what was your favorite like sets as a kid, or like some of your favorite memories with Lego as a child?
Oh man. Some of my favorite sets are probably some of the ones I still have. And I even put them on like the background of my videos now. So I don't know if you've seen it, but like my 2007 MTT, that was my first big set. And me and my mom put that together, and it took us about 2 days. And I cherish that thing all the time, and it's got like so much sentimental value behind it. Like we even built it incorrect, so there's like 6 little wheels on the bottom of it,
Uh-huh.
but mine only has 5 because we put the Technic pin in wrong. So it's like, I don't know, that's one of my favorite sets, and it's because like when you got it, it came with like 20 plus droids, and that was so unreal for its time. Even now, you don't even get a set with 20 plus minifigures that often, especially in Star Wars. And then my first few like smaller sets though that were like themed were the original battle packs, and that's how I feel like I just kind of became a clone boy at heart.
Dude, I mean, obviously the MTT is like a great set,
Yeah.
but I think like literally like 2 weeks ago, me and Aiden were actually talking about our first. Aiden, what was like your first ever big Lego set?
Define big.
Like a set that would,
$50+.
I would
50
say even more
plus?
expensive. I would say like 70
Maybe
plus.
100. Yeah.
I legitimately don't know actually. Okay, so are we sticking with 50 plus or 100 plus?
Let's go 100.
Whew.
Like really big. Like a
Honestly,
set you just couldn't even think about getting.
I don't think I ever
Yeah.
got a set that expensive as a kid. Um,
You're poor?
Dude.
I was no, I was impatient. I bought all the $20 sets.
Yeah, you're real
First
for the
That's
one.
kind of how I was too. The only reason
Yeah.
I have the MTT is because it was a Christmas gift.
Yep. I'm trying to think of my Christmas gifts because that's the only one. I had one of the fire stations back in the day, but that was probably like 80. I don't think that was 100. Here, I'll pull up brick set real quick.
You just made me think about, this wasn't my first ever big Lego set. My first ever one was the ATTE, but like I remember, so for my birthdays as a kid, we always went like pretty light, like with spending and stuff, because I would get very, very large Christmases. So it was kind of a trade-off, which I was fine with. But do y'all, I mean, of course, I think everyone's going to know the 2010 police station.
Mm-hmm.
I know exactly which one you're talking about.
I remember because I was building a city at like 9, and I was like, man, I really need that police station. But I thought it was going to be too expensive for my birthday. And my parents just were like, nah, we can get it for your birthday. And I was like, oh. I love that set. That set was so much fun. My favorite feature was the fact that it had toilets inside. I thought that was so funny.
So I'm actually scrolling through my brick set right now, and I think I didn't buy my first or even get $100 plus Lego set until I was 17. I think was the first time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Dang.
That sucks.
I think the most expensive I had as a kid. I mean, I'm down into the $80, and I still don't have any I had as a kid. Like I'm somebody who really didn't keep most of my sets apart. I would take the minifigures and I'd build my own thing, and then like some things I'd keep together. Like I kept all my like police cars together, but then I would take other things apart to build that. Yeah, dude, honestly, the most expensive set I had as a kid is a $50 the Forest police helicopter set from 2012. That's the most expensive.
I got the 2013 gunship as like my second big set as well around that year.
That's my first big set I got. The same gunship.
Did you keep your sets together as a kid, Caleb, or were you like a big like take them apart guy?
The very very beginning, like 2007, I guess, when the Rebel Scout battle pack and then the Stormtrooper dropship battle pack were out. I do remember, like, I had a couple of them, so I would take them apart and try to build like a bigger version of them, or I would even swap out the minifigure parts for each other. Like I would make the Stormtrooper helmet and legs on the Rebel torso, and then vice versa on the Stormtroopers. But after that, I quickly realized how much I just preferred having them built. So then I never did it again.
Was that your
That was
first
the
Star Wars set?
only time I ever had experience. Say what?
Was that your first Star Wars set?
Yeah, my first Star Wars sets were actually all those battle packs. I don't know the exact order I got them in because I got them all around the exact same time because they were like $10 back then. So when you go to the store, your parents would just be like, "Oh yeah, pick out a $10 thing. You did great on your report card or something." So
yeah,
and then
yep.
I had all the original battle packs.
What's actually funny is those are the same exact first Star Wars sets that I got. So pretty similar collecting journey. What year were you born? Just so I have context for this.
02.
Oh dang, you're younger than I thought.
Yeah, man. I'm a young boy.
I feel like I it's so strange. Like I'll meet Benji. He was born in I believe 2002 as well, and he started getting Lego Star Wars sets in 2007. I did not start getting Lego until the very end of 2008, and I didn't get into Lego Star Wars till 2009.
That's actually
I got my first set when I was 4 years old, and I'm actually looking at it right now. You should look it up. It's set number 5482. And it's just a big box of just loose brick. I got that, and then me and my sister both got another similar set that was full of just like loose brick, and then merged them all together. She didn't like Lego, but I quickly grew into it, so it went from there.
I'm born in 2004, and I think I got
You're
my
so
first.
young.
I know.
Just a baby.
I know. I just turned 21. It's pretty crazy.
Dang,
But
you're
anyways,
younger than my sister. I didn't even realize that.
yeah, I'm a youngin. But I got my first set 2007, and then my first Star Wars set I think 2008.
That's crazy, dude. There was like a box of Legos, when I was a kid, but that's it. But like the first set that not even I got, but my brother got was in the summer of 2000. Actually, my entire interest in Lego stems from my brother because I don't know if I've actually said this on the podcast before, but my brother, for his birthday in May of 2008, he was gifted the Clone Battle Pack, the Indiana Jones motorcycle chase, and the Indiana Jones tent set. He was gifted those three sets, and he put them together.
I had that Indiana Jones set.
Yeah, well, as you might know, we're all big fans of that here.
Yeah,
but
yeah, I had the one with the motorcycles and the little outpost.
Yeah, and anyways, he got those, and he didn't really care for them, so he just kind of let them be. And I think just a few months later, I was just like, man, I really am enjoying playing with these, and I ended up getting a SpongeBob Lego set, and that's what kickstarted everything. Were you a SpongeBob kid, Caleb?
No, I was one of those. My parents didn't let me watch it.
Oh my God! What is with us bringing people on the podcast that don't watch SpongeBob? What's going on? Josh was the same way.
I would watch an occasional episode or two when it was on TV, but overall I didn't watch it.
I'm sick. I'm tired of bringing on people that don't watch SpongeBob.
Understandable. Have a nice day.
Get out! Get out!
I don't see the hype from what I've seen. Maybe I had to watch it as a kid, but
yeah. Well, anyways, what were you like? Because obviously you like Star Wars, but what other themes were you into as a kid?
As a kid, I was into City, and then I was also into Indiana Jones, and then I forget the name of it, but it's the one with the Aqua
Raiders.
That's what it was. It was Aqua Raiders because I got one set for my birthday, and it's the one with the big fish with the light on it, and then it came with two divers, and he had really big teeth.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. It's a squid. I'm pretty sure.
I don't think it was a squid. It was a fish.
Oh yeah, because it wasn't the main base then, right?
It was a small set. It was $10
Oh,
set.
that's the anglerfish one. And then the
It
pieces
just popped up. The first
like
one.
glow in the dark, I think, on that set too.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
was oh my gosh, it goes for 133 on Amazon now. It's set number 7771.
Dude, it's crazy because, like, as adults, right? Like, I all the time now buy sets that are, like, the more medium-sized sets or the big sets. But, like, I always forget, as a kid, like, almost all of us were confined to mostly only purchasing, like, the $10 to $30 sets. That's, like, what made most of our collections as a kid.
Yeah, dude, I remember like working my like allowance for like a week or two or three or however much it was just to go out of my way to get the Bark Speeder set with Captain Rex because all I want was Captain Rex. I didn't care
Hmm.
about anything else in the set. I was like, dude, I gotta get this Captain Rex. But
Yeah.
And
yeah, it was pretty rare for me to get anything over like $30.
Yeah,
now
Christmases.
now it's like a casual buy at a at a Walmart now, which is pretty crazy how fast that
It
changes.
is crazy. Yeah, and that's just in a span of 10 years. We're all sitting here like back in my day.
Yeah, back in our
Dude,
day,
I
which
feel
was only
so
10 years
old,
ago.
but also not at the same time. Like it feels like half my life has gone by, but I'm only 21.
Well, if
Looking
you
back
die
on the good
tomorrow,
old
then I
days.
guess you're right.
That's true, actually. That could happen.
Womp womp.
Excuse me, did you just say womp womp?
Yep.
You've seen that? So, like, when did you get into the Lego community, like, fully? Like, were you big into
Oh
YouTube
man,
as a
no.
kid, or?
Oh yeah, I was huge into Lego as a kid. Like I grew up watching David and Chris Productions and
Yep.
Pizza Movies
Pizza
and
movies is goated.
all of them. Yeah, I grew up watching all of them. I would always come home from school, do my homework, and immediately run to my computer to like try to watch YouTube and see who would put out a new video that day.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But as far as like my online presence personally, I never really got into it until about the age of 16, 17, after I got my first job. And it's because I dabbled into a couple of Lego Facebook group pages. And one of my, I met one guy on there from Australia. His name's Punk Creations. And he and I would chat every single day about Lego and this and that. And I had never really had a Lego friend to that day. And then he was always encouraging me. He's like, dude, you need to make a page. Like, you should like show off your collection or just something. He's like, people would love it. And I was always like, dude, nah, no one's gonna want to see what I have to say and this and that. And he's like, I really mean it. I think you could go somewhere with it. And so eventually I kind of just gave in and I made my first account on Instagram and called it C Blackwell Boy Productions. Very minor of me, you know. But after that, it just kind of quickly started growing. After about a year or two, I was at like 2,000 followers and then 4,000 followers. And then now here we are about 5, 6 years later, and I have almost about 30,000 followers across all platforms. So it's been, and like I never imagined it to go from like that to now it's my full-time job, if that makes sense. You just never know where life's going to take you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, like looking back at the like small interactions we had with people that got us into this space and like everything that's come of that. Like for me, when I was in a middle school youth group, I made a friend who did Lego toy photography. This is back in like 2015, 2016. So it's literally just taking a minifigure out in your backyard and taking a picture of it with your phone. So it wasn't anything crazy yet. But he introduced me to this space, and now we're here literally 10 years. Well, not 10 years, because no, it is 10 years. Holy cow. 10
Oh
years later.
God. Oh my
That's
God.
insane.
The Force
I've
Awakens
lived
released
half-
10 years ago.
Dude, I've lived half my life in the Lego space now. Well, a little under, but that's pretty nuts actually to think about because I started the YouTube channel in 2016 and I started the Instagram before that.
Dude,
Um,
you think it's bad for you? I started doing Lego YouTube in 2009.
That's crazy. Well, you were born in
Bro's an
'03,
OG.
right?
Oh, two. I was only 7.
Oh my gosh.
I have YouTube
But yeah,
Oh, I
videos.
bet that was
Hmm?
that's some core memories for that cringe. I bet.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, like, when I was 8, it's not so bad because, like, you're such a little kid that it doesn't even matter. It's like when I got, like, 10, 11, 12 that it gets really cringy. Because you're just like,
You
ugh.
know, it's
Yeah.
always funny too because like looking back, even when I was younger and like watching those Lego YouTubers all the time, I would always like I had the mental note of like, if I do this, I'm gonna be cringe because I'm young, but maybe I'll do it when I'm older someday. And then even when I got to about the age of 16 getting into it, I was still like, am I like it's still gonna be cringe, but I came to the reality of like others people's opinions don't really matter. Like, do what you enjoy. Like, you only live once, you know? So, it was just pretty cool.
Well,
Yeah.
like, yeah. I find it interesting because, like, I remember when we had Josh on, like, I feel like he hadn't been into, like, the Lego internet. Because, like, Aiden, you got into the Lego internet sphere in what, 2015? That's what you
2015,
said?
2016, around that. So I was like
Like,
12.
I have like a 7 year head start on you. Like so many people are just don't remember what Lego YouTube was like in 2009 and 10. Like half of it was just stop motions
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
from
I
like
mean, I
12.
still watch stuff. Like I watched Chris Productions like on the daily back
Yeah,
then.
but like to me, Chris Productions is not like like I don't even have nostalgia for him because he was so late into the game. Like dog, I okay, this is gonna get kind of embarrassing, but like I used to watch like Brick Queen, Brick Show, Night Shroud 99. I didn't really watch David all that much, to be honest.
Get out.
Dog, he was. I think he listens to this podcast, so I hope he skips this episode. But like dude, in some of his Clone Army videos, he was such a jerk. He like, I remember as a kid, I'd be watching him, and he would be like responding to comments, and he'd be like, shut up, stop asking me this question. I'm like, dog, that's crazy.
I just remember talking with people at school because like I was in elementary school when I would watch David. Um, and we'd be talking about like the like building Kashyyyk like updates as they came out. So it's like pretty weird that like I just like know him casually now. Like and it's like not
Yeah,
like
it's so surreal.
yeah. And I think like the first time you meet him is like when that or like anybody you watch as a kid, it's like, "Oh, wow, this is kind of weird." And then it just like goes away after like an hour and then they're just like another person that you just hang out with.
Yeah, I've had that with
Agreed.
well, not as bad with Ryan because again, I didn't watch Ryan like as a kid. I only watched
Mhm.
him as I got a little bit older. But like, yeah, like I've had a casual conversation with him at Atlanta BrickCon a few weeks ago, which Caleb was at.
Yeah, yeah. And kind of like same feeling for him. Like, grew up watching Ryan, and now I'm like, we're all like buddy buddies.
Yep. Let me tell you though, like after meeting like real celebrities and like stars, like Lego celebrities feel like so like D-list or like so much lower. Um, so like I remember when I went to Brickworld Chicago 2018. That was my first con, and like meeting those people there was like pretty crazy. But after like going to the Super Bowl 2 weeks ago, I'm like that's like nothing compared to this. Um, so it's actually pretty crazy like when you like zoom it out how like the community has its own like famous people, but they're not like actually famous like outside of the community. But if you go to like a Lego con, they will be swarmed. Like anytime I walk around a
Yeah,
Lego con with Ryan, I'm just taking pictures like every like 30 seconds for fans.
yeah, I agree. I mean, it's just a much larger scale, like you said.
Caleb, have you experienced that at all? People,
Like, I guess you could say fans or
yeah.
people coming up recognizing me.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's most definitely grown. The first time it ever happened, I had about 4,000 followers, and that was like such a surreal moment, being like, whoa, like I know I'm posting online stuff, but to actually see like a supporter in person is like just a mind blowing um just aspect, I guess.
Mhm.
But it was pretty crazy. Even at I think the most I've ever had in one show was actually this show, Atlanta BrickCon. I probably had about 15 to 20 people walk up to me and be like, "Oh, dude, I watch you, or I love what you're doing." And like, to those, even if you're listening now, thank you so much. Like that's kind of what keeps me going. And then I had a lot of people when I went to Brick Convention Costa Mesa, California, about a month ago, and I was very surprised by that because I was, to me, just supposed to be like another smaller convention. I was just attending for the fun of it, but there was quite a few people that showed up and like chatted with me for a while.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting when it happens because I feel like it almost puts like a face to the numbers that you see, like when you're just like looking at how well your content is performing. It's just like, oh, it's got this many views, but then you like meet those people, like, okay, when it says like 2,000 people watch it, this means 2,000 people watched it, and like it feels like such a small number on the screen, but like when you actually take into account like how big of a number that actually is, it's pretty crazy like how many people can like watch stuff that we put out.
Yeah, I agree. I try to never, I always try to look at things positively and try not to just see people as a number or anything like that. Because in all reality, I'm just another guy like you. Like it's like the numbers behind my brand doesn't define me. Like I'm just another guy who's enjoying the hobby and just making a life out of it. And so it's cool when people, I guess, see that answer in person too, and then we can all just relate to each other on a more level note, and it kind of takes away, I guess, their anxiety, because like you said,
Hmm.
when you meet someone who's like, oh, there's a celebrity or something, but then they just can be so real with you.
Yeah, you really realize they're normal, just a normal person.
Spe-
Yeah.
Speaking on like like kind of like the real life interactions and stuff between the Lego community. Do you have a favorite Lego convention you've been to thus far? Because you go to so many more than most people. Is there one that sticks out like a certain year?
Oh, dude, by far it's Atlanta Brick Convention. I mean, Atlanta Brick Con, but like that's my favorite one. I tell everyone that. I'm like, they do so much better than Virginia. They do so much better than Chicago. Those are like the ones everyone kind of competes with being like the best in the world or the best in the U.S. However you want to put it. But to me, the way that Nick and Amanda Brick Fan Expo, that's what they're called, the way they run their shows is just top tier. They accommodate for the AFALs, they accommodate for, excuse me, the mock builders, and for these guys who make content.
Yeah. Do you well like it? Do you have a specific favorite year of Atlanta BrickCon, or is it just the most recent one that happened like 2 weeks ago?
I it's, you're still kind of like riding the high of the last one because it was, like you said, 2 weeks ago.
Uh huh.
But I want to say that this most recent one would be my favorite.
That's fair.
Um,
Yeah.
like just because my wife, she got to come to a Lego convention for the first time and see the private days and be able to do all the little small events that we do outside the conventions, and um it of course, having like so many people recognize me and like walk up and chat with me plays a factor in it too. But then um our display for Empire Lug was like the biggest it's been there as well. And even having family be able to drive 2 to 3 hours out just to come check out a show like this, and they're not even into Lego, but it's just all these different roles play a factor into it. And with the being like growing as fast as it is, it's already what, 3 halls, and with talks of them opening another hall next year.
Oh, is that in the
Um,
chats to expand again? I hope if they
I,
expand
I
again,
mean,
they're gonna be the same size as like Brick Fair, aren't they?
they're going to be, if not bigger than Virginia and Chicago at that point. They'll just need the exhibitors to make it bigger at that point, but the space will be the same. Like it's already very very close to being the same as those two spaces.
That'd be awesome, dude. But I hold so much like love for the original Atlanta BrickCon in 2022 or
I do
2023,
too.
like
I
the
do
one
too.
that Ethan went with, and it was just
Yeah.
so tiny and unexpected. That was
Nobody expected it. That's what gets me, is like we're all like, oh, it's because Brick Fair Alabama got closed down the year before.
Yeah.
And so Atlanta became like our local convention. And if y'all don't know, I'm from Montgomery, Alabama. So driving about 3 hours to go to Atlanta BrickCon, and then it just blew up. It was so insane. They had snake lines everywhere outside,
Dude,
and even had the fire marshal called in and shut it down the second afternoon because there was just so many people showing up to it. But
that was, it's not my favorite convention I've ever been to, but in a way it's like the most sentimental I am. Just like it's such a specific, like that vibe will never come back because it was just you had to be there. It was a one-time thing.
I agree with that 100%. It was just like you said, something no one expected. Everyone thought it was going to be this just tiny convention, and then now here we are 3 years later, and it's already quickly like, I mean, arguably the best convention out there.
Yeah, I mean, Aidan went to Atlanta BrickCon last year. And I really enjoyed that. Sadly, I mean, we talked about this in the last episode, but he went to the Super Bowl, which is fair. But
yeah,
nah.
I know I'm the reason why it wasn't as fun for you, Brendan. I'm sorry.
That's true.
I wanted you to be there. I loved our memories of looking at the encyclopedias last year.
Dude, I literally thought about that like 2 days ago. I was just like in my car and I was like, that was such a good time. I don't even know if you know about this, Brendan, but me, Caleb, and Garrett were just wandering around the con hall. It was like really late. I think it was like 1 a.m. or something. And we found just like on the floor somewhere, they had like all the books. And we pulled out the Star Wars visual encyclopedia from like 2009. And we just like went through and looked at all the sets and talked about like our childhood memories with all of them. And that was so much fun. Like that's one of my favorite memories from that.
Goated memory of last year. That's like one of the only things I really remember about last year is that.
Yeah, and then the Kahoot with duck bricks. That's the other thing I remember.
Dude, the Kahoot this year was really funny though. But no, Atlanta BrickCon was awesome. I feel like LEGO conventions are obviously something we talk about a lot here because they're my favorite part of the LEGO sphere.
Yeah.
But you though, you work a lot during those LEGO conventions because you will a lot of times work a booth or you'll be doing your own thing. Like, does that not, I don't want to say ruin the convention, but change up the vibe since you're kind of there to do a job sometimes?
All of it's fun, but I do agree with you on like it can change the vibe of it. Like let's for example, Brick Convention, that feels a lot more strictly business. And then like the reason I say that is because it's such a faster paced thing. Like we get in Friday, we like unload, we set up, and then do the show Friday and Saturday, and then Saturday and Sunday, and then Sunday you pack up and leave, and that's it. But for what I like to call them is the A-fall shows, and that's like Chicago or Atlanta BrickCon or Brick Fair like Virginia. Those are more A-fall friendly and oriented because we'll get there like Wednesday or Thursday and you hang out with your friends and take your time and you get to set up for 2 to 3 days and then typically you leave on like Monday. So it just like the whole experience is way longer and just more chill. But I love it all. Like I get I know you guys were talking about like finding deals and things like that. I get kind of like a high from it. Like that's what I love. I love to go find bargains and be able to be like, oh yeah, I found this $100 minifigure in this lot for $5 or something insane. And then I think that adds to the story and to the sentimental value of keeping something like that because you can add that story to more things in your collection.
Are you at all into right now, because like me and Aidan are very like going back collecting old themes, are you into any old theme right now? Are you like looking for a certain set right now? Like what is your collecting like habits right now? Like where are you at there?
So it has shifted. I know I mentioned earlier that I used to like dabble into Indiana Jones and City and all this and that, and around the age of 12 I came to the realization that there's too much Lego out there for me at that age to attempt to collect at all.
Mhm.
So I ended up like getting rid of or selling off like my city and the few Bionicle I had and the other just niche stuff, and I started diving strictly into Star Wars because that's just what I love the most. So since then, I've basically just collected Star Wars, and until more recently, I like if I have a very big love for a certain hobby or something like that, I'll get one or two small things just to resemble my love for that. Like, I love playing Minecraft with my wife, so I have like a Minecraft Steve and Alex with like all diamond armor on just to represent my love for the game. Or like you could say Call of Duty. I like Call of Duty, so I'll go buy like a minifigure like Ghost that kind of represents that hobby. Or I got a couple of Lord of the Rings things because that's my second favorite universe is The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. And then I just got the Office Lego set for Christmas because that show is goated. And I have all the new Indiana Jones sets because there was only 3 of them in the newer theme of it. So I was like, oh,
Yeah.
that's perfectly reasonable to show my love for Indiana Jones. I just have 3 sets for it. Even though I do have some of the older ones still, but those ones I plan on displaying.
Are you at all interested in buying old sets, like, or do you mainly just collect modern Lego sets?
So, like, to an extent, I want to have like one of every single Star Wars set out there, but like, I'm not going out of my way to spend some crazy budget on basically today's retail pricing on those sets. I always wait until, like I said, I find a really good deal because then it just adds so much more to the story or anything like that. But currently, I'm not going out of my way to get any specific Lego set. I like to find bulk deals, especially on minifigures. Like I'll buy a big lot and then I'll keep what I don't have. I just got this one lot in yesterday, and I'm keeping like 10 to 15 minifigures out of the lot, but then I can sell off the rest to make my money back or profit a little.
Yeah, I like what you said about it being like a story for like going out and finding it or like happening across it instead of just paying like too much for it on eBay because you need it now to like collect everything. Like somebody else in this call does. Not gonna name.
Dude, the first time I heard Brendan saying that, I was like, "What?
Yeah.
No!"
I got videos to make, man. All right,
to each their own. But I know that one thing that's different from you compared to how we collect is you collect minifigures a lot more, and that's a much bigger emphasis for you. So like, first off, which do you like collecting more, sets or minifigs? And is there any like fun ways you like to collect minifigures, or is it just Star Wars?
Wait, what was that second part?
Do you like? Is there any fun minifigure collections you're like trying to complete, or how do you collect, or is it just like every Star Wars figure?
So I have I guess two. I like minifigures more, and that's because they're easier to display and they take up way less room than sets, and they can pack so much detail into them. But I also am partially like an army builder with clones and basically any army faction in Star Wars. And I don't go overboard like some people do with 100 plus of the same minifigure. Like I limit myself to 16 of one variant, and that's because it makes a 4x4 on a base plate. My display stands can fit 64 figs in one case, so I can fit 4 different groups of a clone in it. And I want like for especially my clone army, I want 16 of every trooper out there. So like even if it's a custom, eventually I'd like to have it. So say like the 501st, this is a good example. They have the heavies, they have the recons, they have the specialists, and they have the grunts and jet troopers, and it's like I want 16 of every single one of those. And it looks great on a base plate, but then again, when I build my mocks, I can build them pretty much to any scale I want, and then I can put these minifigures on there and still have so many different clones and so many different varieties. Like you see some people build these mocks and they'll just slap 100 the same exact minifigure on there, and it's just kind of like there's no variety in it. Like there's not as much special to that to me. It makes more sense to have like all these medics or all these grunts or a different legion on there. It gives more, I think, storytelling, I guess.
So you like more so like the practicality of it. So from what I'm hearing, at least, let's say like the 2014 501st Trooper that they released, you're not aiming to get 16 of those and 16 of the 2020s, correct? You're just like, I just want to have 16 501st Troopers. Is that right?
That is correct, but I do have 16 of each of those.
Oh my gosh, of course.
Bad example. Bad example.
New example. I don't know.
So I mean, it helps to an extent because like if I want to go, like right now, if you go to conventions or online builds, the like mocks are saturated, especially if they're using 501st. It's all the newer stuff, and I feel like when you're at a convention, you get more reactions from people if you use stuff that's not on store shelves currently.
Mm-hmm.
So like I used my 212th troopers, but I used in my Felucia mock at Atlanta. But I used all the older ones from like 2014 or 2013, whatever year it was. And people are just they freak out over that because they're like, "Oh my gosh, look how many this guy has."
Do you only collect Star Wars minifigures, or is there any other themes you collect minifigures for?
This is the only one that I actually collect the minifigures for, and like I want to eventually have one of everything, but like I said, I'm in no rush to do it. It's just kind of like when it happens, it happens. Adding one to the collection. But then again, I'll dabble into other themes just to show my expression for the love of another hobby of mine or something like that. Like the Minecraft, for example. I have a Alex and Steve and full diamond armor and pickaxes
Do you
just to
think?
represent that I like Minecraft.
Yeah. Do you think you would collect other themes more if you had more money or more space, or is it just like you only want to collect Star Wars because that's just the only thing that really piques your
Yeah, like
interest?
at some point, I would love to have at least all the main characters from Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, but most of them are just so expensive
Mm-hmm.
that I just don't even bother looking too deep into it, and I just kind of stick to my own lane with the Star Wars.
Do you think that Lego will release a new wave of Playscale Lord of the Rings sets when the new movie comes out? I think they definitely will.
I think they will, and I think there's already rumor of another small set, or maybe it's another large scale set. I
It's
want to say there's already a rumor of one coming out.
the Shire comes out in like 2 months.
That's it.
That's
Um,
like supposed to be
and there's
200.
also a like I don't remember the exact name for it, but you're supposed to like put it on a bookshelf it's a book nook. You put it like in between books, and it like creates like a
Yeah,
small
hold 'em
scene.
up.
Uh-huh. And there's a Balrog versus Gandalf one that they're also making this year. So there's actually two
Yeah,
sets
that's
coming
cool.
out.
What? So something I really want to bring up because I think it is one of the coolest things I've seen in the Lego community is your Lego room, or
My
building.
studio.
Your studio, your building. I don't even know what to call it. It's awesome though.
I mean, thank you. It's been a lot of work. There's a whole little series on YouTube. If you guys self plug, Blackwell Bricks on YouTube. If you guys want to watch it, I'm probably going to do at least one more episode just to show like what it looks like currently and the whole process of building it. But it's a essentially 600 square foot, and half of it I've made it my actual studio. So if you watch my content online, you'll see my displays in the background and some of my collection. And then on the other side of that room is just my really big desk. It's probably 9 foot long by 7 or 8 feet wide. Like it's just a very massive area just for building and for sorting bricks and all that. And then on the other side of the room is my online store for Bricklink. And that's where I keep all my parts. My personal parts are over here too. And my backlog of sets I'm hoping to get around to building them soon and actually put them all on the display and making the displays look nicer. But my backlog's over here, all my parts are over here, and then all my sets for the store are over here. And then I have my little setup where I'm at right now with my computer and all that.
Yeah.
So
And go ahead.
go ahead. Nah,
No.
all you.
No, all you.
Oh, okay.
Girls, it's okay, one at a time.
You mentioned your backlog, which is something that I can relate to, but yet again Brendan can't. How, but, but anyways, you run a bricklaying store, so how do you decide which sets you part out and which sets you keep sealed?
That's a really good question. From the business perspective of it, I'll look up the value of however much the parts are. And for me personally, like if it's not 4 to 5 times whatever I paid, then I'm not going to part it out. But if it has like really good potential that I think in the future, then I'll keep it sealed. So like a good example is the Mandalorian Starfighter that had Gar Saxon in it. And I found those for like $30 each. And even at the time of me finding those, Gar Saxon was already worth like 40 to 45 bucks. And I was like, oh, well, this is an obvious keep sealed. I could see this being kind of like the last Mandalorian Starfighter with Pre Vizsla. And that set was going for like 200 plus sealed after a few years. So that's like one good example for it. But then there's other sets where, like I said, the part out value is just so much more. And so you go ahead and just part it out.
How much has the Mandalorian Starfighter rose in value? I honestly have, like
It currently it goes for roughly like $100.
Really? I thought it was less than that. Because I have 3 sealed.
It's about 80 on like Bricklink or anything like that. But like if you go to like Amazon, eBay, I think it's about 100 to 125.
At what price point do you think you'd sell them at?
I've sold one so far for 125.
Okay, that's
But
pretty good.
I'm not in any rush to sell them either.
How many do you have? Or is that classified?
Probably like 6.
Oh, okay.
Probably like 6. Nothing crazy.
Have you? So like obviously going Lego full time, it's a big investment up front with the amount of money you have to put in. Are you already seeing profits, or is that something that's like down the line?
It's all I don't know. There's so many different factors of it, and I had to spend so much money on this studio. I spent a couple of $1,000 building it and like getting it prepped just to move into it, and just trying to stay in line with like paying bills as well, and like now having an extra mouth to get fed and under a house and all, if that makes sense. So
Yep.
it's not quite where I would say it's comfortable. Like I'm still mindful of everything I do, but I think it's very much on track to quickly become comfortable.
Does Katie work full time?
Yeah, Katie's
Okay.
a bigger hustler than the rest of us, dude. She works like 2 to 3 jobs and in college until May, so she's about to graduate.
Oh dang. So she's carrying you, is what I'm hearing.
Oh yeah, she's carrying everyone.
That's good. That's
Trying to have a sugar mama.
good.
That's the goal for all Lego nerds, I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
I'm already there.
But
Like
no, we both we said I'm already there.
half my collection comes from Bridget, dude.
Dang, maybe I should get a girlfriend.
Yeah, no, seriously. I mean, like, you gotta think about how many sets I review that come from my girlfriend. Who so like what are some I can't talk apparently, I'm having a stroke. What are some of your like big who are some of your big inspirations for like doing content creation and like this entire like Lego thing? Like who do you really like look up to in the Lego sphere?
Oh man, there's so many names I could call out. Like honestly, it's a little bit of everyone. There's some people like I guess you could say David, you could say Ryan, you could say I really love like Brickmaster Harry, and I love Firebird Studios and MKM Brick, and um there's so many other people, dude. Like the list goes on and on and on, but just everyone's mentality is so positive and continue trying to grow and to push the boundaries, and we can all just kind of learn from each other. So it's been very very nice.
I'm a big fan of Brickmaster Harry opinions here.
Yeah, and I mean that's all these people in the Lego sphere as far as like making content are usually so positive and so willing to help others learn to push themselves too. Like so willing just to give advice where they can and to like talk about where like maybe they messed up on something, but they're like, oh, if I were to do something differently, I would have did this instead, or um, vice versa, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And I know there's going to be so many other names. Like people are going to be like, "Oh, well, why didn't he mention me or something?" It's like, no, I'm thinking of you. It's just too many names to actually list.
Yeah, I didn't hear Chatterblocks in there, so I'm actually gonna kill myself now.
Who's that?
Cut chat goes off.
um,
Sorry, you'll forever be Lego Jedi Bob.
that's
Yep.
fine.
That was a very good media trained answer. Answer, Caleb. That's very good. Well, staying in line with the Lego space, what has been some ways that you've seen? Because you're in it full time, like you're in it more than me and Brendan even are. So, what are some ways you've seen it like seep into your personal life over the years that you didn't expect?
Um, that's a very like food for thought question, I guess. Um, I guess you could say at first, back in like high school when I started and stuff, people you're so drawn to like other people's opinions and like what are they gonna think of me, or like are people gonna think I'm weird for being into this? But then once you mature more and realize how, like I said, other people's opinions don't matter, just do what you love. I started talking more about it so willing, and to this point now I'll chat with anyone about it. I'm like, you don't know what doors you'll open just from simply chatting with someone. Like on the plane recently to one of my trips, I just met the guy asked me where I was going, what I was up to, and he immediately could relate. And he's like, dude, I used to play with Lego all the time as a kid, and like it just brought so many memories back for this guy, and we were able to relate on a level like that. Or I can bring up past jobs I've had to people and show like how it's transitioned into doing what I love and be able to encourage other people to do what they love. And I don't, you just kind of grow out of it, I guess, on like people's opinions of you. And what else could I say about it? Yeah, like I get to just network, and you never know who you'll meet. Like I said, that's the biggest thing. Like I've been able to network recently to where I have almost a phone number to an employee at most stores in my local area that will just like hit me up and be like, "Hey man, this set just went on clearance," or "I know you've been looking for this one. Here you go," and they just like buy it for me.
That's actually a really good system to have, like from a business standpoint, especially because clearance deals, like that's how you make your money as a Bricklink YouTuber. But you were talking about like how you should just like not care what other people think. I also think now, and me and Brennan have talked about this before, but it is so much more normalized to be into this than it was like even like 7 years ago.
Oh,
Even
100%.
4 years ago, dude,
Hmm.
it's so much more normalized, and I feel like it's all due to COVID.
Yeah, I was
And
gonna
I
say the
don't
same
relate
thing.
to a lot of people when they like relate to COVID and being like locked in their houses and stuff, because I was still working my full time job, like doing everything. So I was still going in and out of people's houses and cleaning or working on systems or whatever else I was working on. So I never really got to relate to that aspect of it, but I did get to relate to seeing an increase in like a lot of content creators started then, and a lot of other people were like, "Yeah, I just got in the hobby because I didn't have anything else to do, and I picked up my old hobby as a kid or something like that."
It's
The unfortunate
incredible.
part about that is how much it made like old sets rise in value though. Like I remember how cheap Clone Wars sets used to be before season 7 came out during COVID, and now
Yeah,
the frickin' Anakin's Y-wing is like $200. And I'm like,
that's
it's
ridiculous.
just it's just yellow guys with Anakin and Ahsoka. What are
It,
we doing out here?
I feel like it's
And
something we haven't talked about all that much. But like, COVID was like obviously the many billions of reasons COVID was a big deal, but just in the Lego space, like COVID truly was like a huge stepping point for it fully changed the game of Lego entirely on a community stance because so many folks came in that are huge players now, and so much of the market has been increased, like you said, and it's become just so much more popular than it was like 2019. I mean, like, I feel like Lego was already increasing in popularity, but the comparison is night and day.
hmm
I also think the combination of like the triad of short term content being on the rise, um, everybody being stuck inside their house because of COVID, and then Lego was like something that you could do while you're in the house. I think because it got introduced to those spaces, because before 2020, short form content was not a Lego thing at all. It was all like building series on YouTube and like set reviews, and that was all it was. But I think because of the reinvention of content, it's seeped its way into like way more normal places now, where I'd say it's not this like niche thing. Because like I have friends who I'll just like they'll send me reels on Instagram that like cause anything that's like Lego related I always get sent by anybody, um, and I'm like
Same.
I know that you maybe buy like one set a year if that, but this is just naturally popping up on your feed because of your algorithm. So I think it's broken out of the niche that it was because most people didn't even know like Lego YouTube or content was even a thing like back in like 2018, 2019. But I think like most people, especially with stop motion, they like see it a lot more often on their content streams.
Yeah. Like my wife's mom tagged us in this meme 2 or 3 days ago. It's for Valentine's, and it says, "Hug me and never let go." And it's two Lego bricks hugging each other, but they're stuck together.
It's a very Facebook mom like type of meme to have. It's cute, but
Yep.
Oh, also, backtracking 1 second, I feel like I should defend myself and say that like I don't scalp any Lego. Like all the Lego I find, I wait till it's like such a stupid good deal. Like I can't say no. Like I just picked up a couple of Speed Champions for $5 each,
hmm
and they have been sitting on the shelf for years and even months when they were on clearance for even half off, and people don't buy them. So it just shows like in my area is completely different from most people's areas, and there's no AFOL presence around here. I can count literally one other person in my area that actually collects Lego,
I don't
and they don't even collect
actually
Lego sets.
I don't actually think there's a huge problem with what people call scalping. Um, I don't feel like it's your responsibility. Like if Lego is your full-time job and then going out and getting sets, like especially like once they're on clearance, they've been out for like a year and a half. Like I don't think it's your job or responsibility to ensure those sets are available to other people, especially if they've had a full year to like go ahead and buy them. So I'd say there's
Yeah,
nothing
most
wrong with what you're doing.
I have
yeah,
I have more mixed feelings on it. I don't like Lego reselling is such a complex thing that I have feelings for that I like don't fully understand myself. But like Lego reselling is such a strange thing to me because like in one sense part of me wants to dislike it because it's like almost like someone taking advantage of the hobby. And I'm not talking about like piecing out stuff on Bricklink, but like something about it, like especially with old retired sets, like from the stuff that I collect, bothers me a little bit more. But I say this, yeah, I support fully Atlanta Brick Co. and I love that store, so I guess it's pretty ironic.
I mean, it just goes
ironic,
back
isn't
to
it?
the age old saying of values in the eye of the beholder. So like if somebody's willing to spend $400, that's how much that thing is worth. So
Yeah.
I don't really think.
It's worth what someone will pay.
Yep, like if I boycott it and like I don't go out and buy sets on clearance and stuff, then somebody else is just gonna do it. Which like I know it's not like a general good life morality stance to have, but as far as like Lego stuff goes, like man, like if you have the money and you're being semi-responsible with it, do whatever you want, man. It's a hobby. It's supposed to be fun, and I think there is some fun of like trying to buy something low and then like flip it over the next couple of years. Like that's something that I have enjoyment with, and I'm assuming you do too, Caleb.
Oh, dude,
So
I have so much fun with that. Like before I turn this into a full-time job, that's how I would actually budget my Lego like trips and my collection. It's like whatever I had two separate bank accounts, and one was just for my 9 to 5 job to pay my bills and to do like the little things outside of Lego that I want to do, whether it be a date or a road trip or go out to eat, anything like that. And then I had a separate one for when I sold Lego, that's where that money went. And so if I wanted to have more Lego in my collection, it had to come from that account. Or if I want to go on a Lego trip, I would have to be able to sell off my Lego to be able to afford to do that trip. I wasn't letting them intertwine with each other because I started finding myself saying, okay, Caleb, you have this budget of $100 this week. And then I would come across a deal for $110. And I'm like, I can swing that. And that started happening too often for me.
That's honestly that's such a smart thing. That's an incredibly intelligent way to do it. The way you just
I think
described.
it takes away because for me sometimes, like anything that's not, especially like when you're the age we are, anything that isn't directly needed, like food or like clothes, like stuff like that you spend money on, there is some guilt that comes with it because of like how little money we have, or at least
because of how little Lego you get out of that.
Yeah, well, or like I really want the Dune Ornithopter right now, but it's $160, and I'm like,
it's $150 on Amazon.
Oh, okay, that changes.
Caleb's like, I know, because I just went and bought all of them.
Yeah.
No.
You have to buy them from me
I'm not David Hall, dude. I don't spend all that kind of money.
But I'm like, if I go out and spend this, like, that's also like a flight I could buy to somewhere to like go do something fun, and that's just like hard for me. So, kind of going in line with it, when I worked at the Bricks and Minifigs in Arizona, there was these two guys who had come in and only work on the weekends because they were, I think, a bank teller full time. And their rule was any money they made at Bricks and Minifigs was their money they could spend on Lego. And then everything else they made as a bank teller could go towards normal life. And I think once I'm out of college, I might do something like that.
That's cool. Because then, even if you get a job at, say, a Lego store, you get the employee discount of, 50% off?
Which
so
is
it's like,
nuts.
dude, your budget can become crazy for just your Lego hobby. Also, one thing I wanted to say too about like my Bricklink store that has been really nice is I don't picture it as just product. I picture it as my collection, and if someone buys some of it, okay. But like when I am mock building, do you know how nice it is to be able to just go over to my computer or my phone and be like, I need this part. I can't find it in my bins. Let's see if I have it. And I'll just search it up and be like, okay, it's in this drawer over here. And then I just go pick them out and then delete it from the store. So, like, it helps so much even in mock building.
What you both were saying about, like, the budgeting thing with Lego, that's probably one of the biggest things I struggle with is being able to, because, of course it is being able to budget out, like, buying Lego, because especially since I buy a lot of old Lego, and I tried to do it quick, specifically also because I'm doing YouTube now. I want to get videos out. Like, I've just never even thought of it that way, of like having a separate bank account and like using a certain type of income exclusively for the hobby. That's like, I think that would help so much. Truth be told, that's probably like my dream. If I could ever get my YouTube channel successful enough to literally just make the money to afford the hobby, that's like the dream, right? That would be amazing.
I believe in you, bro. I believe in you.
You got it.
I'm like absolutely like blown back by that because I thought that is such a great idea. Especially like the flipping it because you're just using it to fund the hobby, which I guess in a way is what I do because I'll sell a lot of sets to Atlanta Brick Co and then buy another set, but not quite to the same level.
Another way that I've kind of counteracted it is I don't just go out and like buy a set. Like I'll go out and get a set. Like if me and my roommates decide we're gonna build Lego sets together, or like if I'm going out to visit you, Brendan, in like 10 days, and like that's a time where I'll buy a set, or like I'll do an impulse buy at a Walmart for like $15. So like that's kind of how I've differentiated it from like, okay, this is like a special occasion thing, or like I just need to chill for a night thing. Or I found a crazy good deal on eBay, but staying off eBay also helps for that. So
Yeah.
that's been, dude,
For
marketplace
me,
is like
it's become
bad
kind of rare.
for what?
For me, it's become kind of rare to just go out and buy a Lego set for myself. Like typically, if I'm buying a Lego set for myself, it's during the clearance seasons, and when I have found one that I'm like, oh, I don't have that one yet, and then I'll go and buy it. But most of the time when I'm buying Lego, it's like a gift to my wife or to someone else at this point.
Is there any part of you that's like sad about that like it's just not like this super like casual thing that you'll just do anymore, like when you were like a kid or a teenager where you just like wanted a set and you would just go out and get it?
Not really, honestly. Like I don't really relate there. Like I find a love for the hobby is just as a whole. It's about the best way I can put it.
Yeah.
Really feel like the last time that I had, like, I think I would have that thought right now with probably that new Arc 170. I love it to death. Like, it looks so good. Even if it's a little smaller than what I think it should be, it just looks so clean and brings back all the nostalgia of the original Arc 170s. But it's so expensive. Like, I'm not going to go out of my way and drop it even for that.
Which is funny because you're doing Lego full time, and even you are like, I can't buy it; it's too expensive. Like that's
Nah,
just
dude,
shows
I gotta
Lego
live
said.
by the messages I preach.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's,
I see. That's like this is just an individual person by person. There's no right or wrong answer, but I definitely love that I'm still at that point. It not quite to the same extent. I don't typically go buy modern Lego whenever I want, but like I buy more Lego now than I have since probably I was like 15.
There's no way you
Same.
spent this much money at 15.
No,
'Cause I know how
not the
much you
same
spend.
amount, but the amount of Lego
Okay.
I'm purchasing.
Okay, I was like, there's literally no way.
I just like I like buying. So
he just called you broke at 15, dude. You're gonna take that?
I was, I was buying Lego.
Were you not broke at 15?
Yeah, wait. Is there something you're hiding?
No. I was working I didn't even have an actual job until I was 16 because I couldn't
Dude.
drive and didn't have a phone.
The way I got back into like okay, I don't know. I think I was talking to Levi or maybe Ethan about this, but I have only really had one Dark Age in Lego, and it happened when I was 7 years old.
Kind of relatable. I feel like mine was when Disney had just bought Star Wars and came out with the Rebels TV show. And at that time, out of spite, I was like, I can't believe they did this. I can't watch this. This is just going to be junk because it's not Lucasfilm. And that was a mistake looking back now.
Yeah.
Because Rebels
Go to
really
show.
is a great show. It's so good.
It
It's
is
Better than Clone
it's not
Wars.
quite as good
Better
as
than
Clone
Clone
Wars,
Wars.
but no, okay, you're wrong
Yes, it
there.
is.
But
Nope.
no,
Clone
nope.
Wars is just okay. The peaks of Clone Wars might be better than Rebels, but all 7 seasons, dude, there's so many garbage episodes in Clone Wars, and then it's also this is where it's
Yeah, the
personal-
whole first like 2
personal preference.
seasons of Rebels is kind of meh.
That is not true. You can maybe say season 1's not good, but season 2
Season
is
1.5. How about that?
okay.
I
fine.
don't know.
Maybe you'll get
I
that.
don't know.
But
I
the
think,
first
I think
half
that
of the show
this
is
is
meh.
too black and white. I think. Okay, I will say.
Why are you saying color?
I will.
What'd you say?
What?
Wait, okay. No, I wanna make my final point on this first. So, this is where my personal preference comes in. Rebels is a continuous storyline that you can follow through the entire 4 seasons with like the same crew and cast. And that's just something I like more out of TV shows than how Clone Wars does it. Like, you finish a Clone Wars episode and there's not usually an incentive to watch the next one because it's entirely unrelated to the last one that just happened. So that's just me though.
it's called arcs. So you go
Yeah,
three
but
to four
when the
episodes
arc
for one
ends,
story, but then
when the arc ends, the
all
next one
go
has
towards
nothing
the
to
big
do with the last.
story.
No, this is wrong.
Yes, you're wrong. Also, did you know that Star Wars: The Clone Wars, if you watch the entire thing through, takes 66 hours to watch? And what happens at the end of season 7?
Darth Vader.
He's not a Clone Wars fan.
Order,
It's Order
Order
66.
66.
Oh well, duh, I knew that, but like the exact ending. Darth Vader.
Nah, he didn't know.
I
Big
think
fan.
Man,
this
Big
might
fan.
be the first
stop
time we've ever had
inviting haters on.
might be the first time we've ever had a debate on where my stuff.
Yeah, we're turning into this or that Star Wars.
I will say I prefer or Rebels, but
Bruh, he stuttered.
2 to 1.
Nah,
But-
you're scared
2 to
because
1.
Aiden's here.
no,
Shoot it.
no,
Nuh-uh.
I like Rebels more, but I really like Clone Wars. Me and my girlfriend are rewatching it, and we're just skipping all the bad episodes. There are a lot of bad episodes, but this is the thing with Clone Wars. Clone Wars is really inconsistent, but when it's good, it's like really, really good. And
Once it
Rebels,
hits season 3, it's like amazing.
well, no, but
Nah.
like
All the way
it's an arc by
4.
arc basis. But the other thing is, Rebels still suffers from a few things, and as I've gotten older, I care less. But like, at the end of the day, they censor way too much on Rebels, and it gets to like annoying extents sometimes.
Agreed.
But and luckily that's not an issue Disney has had since then. But Rebels' storyline and characters are just incredible, and not to say that the Clone Wars aren't, but like
No, I agree with you.
I don't know, it's just a personal preference. But how did we even get onto this topic?
I don't know, but
Maybe
all
we
I'm
should end
hearing
here.
is that Rebels wins
because Aiden's a
2 to
D1
1.
hater.
Rebels wins 2 to 1. That's all I'm hearing. So, de-escalating that whole situation that just happened. I don't even know how we just got on that. Caleb, I got one final question for you, which is, what does the future of Blackwell Bricks look like over the next like where do you see yourself in 5 years from doing this?
Oh man, that's I picture myself continuing to grow in any way, form, or fashion that I can, either as a man, as a business, as Blackwell Bricks, more conventions. I want to continue growing the Bricklink store to be eventually the biggest in Alabama, at least. That's my goal. And then maybe even like a legitimate storefront. I feel like that would be pretty crazy to have my own storefront one day.
I would love that, because then I would
I would visit.
Yeah, I would drive
Yeah.
over there and buy
Yeah,
stuff.
I mean, I feel like you see all these bricks and minifigs and stuff like that. I would never buy into a franchise. Me personally,
Nope.
I feel like that's a bad business decision,
Mhm.
especially after learning more and more of the horrors of the fees that bricks and minifigs charges their
Or how
franchises.
it's run, I can say from firsthand experience.
So, and like, I don't know. I have enough experience and I have enough friends that do it similar, like full time, to be able to learn from them. And all knowledge is free if you know where to look. So, I feel like
That's
I would
deep.
be able to do pretty well with my own store.
would you though open it? Okay, actually, I don't want to end this yet, because now I want to get into this. This is such an interesting topic. Do you? Well, first of all, do you know like Whoppy Bricks?
Yeah, I don't know him personally, but I've seen a little bit of his content. I've seen him like pop up on whatnot.
His
Like,
store is so good.
his store in Atlanta Brick Co. and Orlando Brick Co. kind of, not really. The quality difference between those two stores and a Bricks and Minifigs, and no hate towards Bricks. Well, okay, some hate towards Bricks and Minifigs, but like, it's just the difference level. Like, I've always hated just the sets just like sitting there on the shelf, or the layout of Bricks and Minifigs.
Mhm.
Like, Atlanta Brick Co. and Whoppy Bricks' stores look so much better. the pricing seems to be at least a little bit better. The certified pre-owned thing is awesome. But to bring this back around, would you open up the store in Montgomery, or would you go up to like Birmingham? Would you go somewhere more populated?
Nah, I think I would probably do it just north of Montgomery, but I don't know if you guys have seen, but there's a Bricks and Minifigs that just opened up in Vestivia Hills, which is an hour north of me, just south of Birmingham. And granted, from the hate you just gave to Bricks and Minifigs, or my opinions on it, that one is amazing. I love the manager. It's like his name's JR, and he is running it amazingly. The store is so nice. You know the like the honeycomb lighting you see in garages people park their cars in? That's the type of lighting that's in that room. The whole store just has that on the roof. And then he's got big giant Lego blocks that build like aisles. So like his party room is out in the open too, but it's covered up by these giant Lego blocks that build shelves for the Lego sets to sit on. So it's just like a completely different vibe from the other Bricks and Minifigs. And I've been in quite a few of them now, probably about 15 to 20 different Bricks and Minifigs. And some of them, like you said, the selections are kind of sad, or the pricing's just ridiculous. Another one I'll point out is Bricks and Minifigs Missions in Kansas City. And their store is huge. Like, it is the biggest one I've been to. The selection is insane, and the prices were great.
I'd say I have a lot of experience with Bricks Minifigs, having worked at 2 of them, and I think I've gone to over 15 now. So I've been to a decent amount, and I'd say the franchising can prop up a pretty bad owner, but you can still tell when it's like not super well run. But in my opinion, it kind of limits a very good owner. So like the best Bricks and Minifigs that you see, I do think if owners were given a little more freedom in how they ran their store and like how they priced stuff and what they did. And since I've left Bricks and Minifigs, that has started to happen, and I think you're seeing a lot better stores now. There's one that just opened by me in Centennial, Colorado, and dude, that had better than eBay and Bricklink prices for a storefront, which I've like only seen at like Whoppy Bricks. That's the only place I've ever seen it. So
yeah.
And then the one down in Central Phoenix is really good. But like other than that, they're all pretty mid-tier stores because the franchising just keeps them afloat.
Which I feel like this kind of plays a role too. Like, some people are going to be like, well, there's all these other hidden fees you don't know about and this and that. And like there's so much that goes into running a storefront or something like Atlanta Brick Co. You have so many employees there, or these people working nonstop, or paying the rent, or paying the power or the water, or all these different utilities, and even working at some of these vendors' booths at conventions. Their pricing is like higher, but you're paying for like an experience, and you're paying for a premium. So like I understand both aspects of it. What was I about to say?
Yeah, the business model makes it tough.
I learned something interesting from, I believe Levi's the one who told me. Because me and Levi were like looking around at the booths at Atlanta. And he was like, a lot of people the reason that a lot of the vendors can get away with these high prices is the casual Lego fan goes to Amazon.
That's what I was about to say.
They go to Amazon to check the price, and I said, "Oh my god, you're 100%." Like the average person doesn't know anything about Lego. They think Lego's always expensive, so they go to Amazon, and Amazon's obviously going to have it for way higher. And I was like, "Oh my god," my world opened up. I was like, "That's crazy."
And so that's exactly what I was about to play into, is that aspect of it. And to these casual fans, I mean, they're happy to do it. Or you have the like a grandma tell their kid, "Hey, honey, you got $20 you can spend." They don't care what you spend it on. They just have a $20 budget. And for you, you could be like, "Oh, yeah, I'm going to get this minifigure. It's $20." But in all reality, if you go to somewhere like what we know, Bricklink, it could be only like a $5, $6, $10 minifigure,
Yeah.
But you're paying for the experience of, it's kind of like Disney World. If you go to Disney World and you buy a t-shirt, it's going to cost you $30 to $50. but you could have found the exact same T-shirt online for $10 to $15. Or for a water, for example, you go to a hotel, they're going to charge you like $5 for a water. Or you can go to Walmart and buy the entire pack of waters for $5. It all depends on knowing like your value and where you're at.
Yeah,
I feel
sports games do the same exact thing. I think once businesses know I have you and I have you for the next 3 hours, I can upcharge you for stuff that you're gonna want really bad in those 3 hours,
Yeah.
and you're gonna pay it.
And I feel like, I feel like you touched on something good with it being an experience, because like you also got to think that a lot of folks and a lot of kids especially, they don't get to see retro Lego every single day of their life. This could be like one of the first times
hardly
they're like,
ever.
holy crap, there's a set that I've never seen.
Yeah. Or I had that as a kid from 30 years ago or something, and then they fold right then. They're like, I gotta have it. I just have to have it.
It's impulse buying, but to an insane extent. But like, I have that at conventions. Now I won't pay vendor prices, but like at a convention, I'll buy a set that I necessarily wouldn't be craving to buy just to have something at the con. I don't even know if it's FOMO, but it's also just like I want a set to remember the convention by sometimes.
Oh, there's a lot of FOMO with it. For example, this was about a month ago. I was helping one of the vendors, and he had a couple of the Simpson houses. And this one guy goes, "Hey, is that your last one on the shelf?" And I said, "I think so." And so he thought about it. A few minutes later, he comes back and goes, "I'm gonna get it." And so I'm like, "Okay, let me see if I have another one under the shelf before I give you this one that's on the top shelf." And so I look under, lo and behold, we did have one more of the Simpson house. So he bought it, and literally on the spot, the other guy standing next to me goes, "Hey, is that one up there your last one?" I said, "Yes, that's my last one." He goes, "Okay, we're getting it."
Dang.
Like, the FOMO hits so hard for some people.
What's ironic is when Aidan comes down, that's the set I'm trying to sell.
Really?
I don't like that set at all.
Oh yeah, you talked about that in the last podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Dude, I love The Simpsons. I'm one of the biggest Simpson fans. I'm very excited for the new set, but the Simpsons house is like not that great of a set, really. Like, I've had it for 10 years, and it's a whole entire thing. But
I have a very controversial opinion about one set as most people's holy grail that I have changed my entire opinion on after getting it.
go for it.
It's the ATOT with dropship.
Oh, you
Dude,
mean the
I've always
mid-set?
thought that set is mad overrated.
Dude, David
but-
Hall at Atlanta is like, because I had uploaded that video that's like best Clone Wars set, and he's like, I don't know about that, Brendan. And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like,
It's a very good David impression.
he's like, well, it's definitely the dropship with the ATOT, and I'm like, that set's cool, but that is not the best Clone Wars set. And then I think someone else hopped in and was like, yeah, no, that definitely is the best Clone Wars set, and I'm like, oh my god. Get
I
outta
could
here.
probably agree to that. What I meant is the build quality. So like I always wanted that as a kid, and we just simply couldn't afford it when I was younger. And so I had the opportunity to get the ATOT, and I built it. And once I built it, I was like, man, this thing is kind of fragile. It's not got a lot of detail on it, and it's kind of a letdown. A
$2,000
lot of
by
things
the
were
way.
inaccurate on it.
I just
Say what?
It's worth $2,000 now.
It's not even that
Which
good of a
is
set.
I know it is. It's
It's
insane.
not that good of
I
a
own-
set.
I almost bought it at Bricks and Minifigs Huntsville coming back from Chicago a year or two ago.
For how
They had
much?
it was missing a couple of parts, and it was built but used with all the figs for like $750.
That's actually
wasn't
crazy.
It was a good price for what it was. Like, I was very tempted because I was getting some store credit. I was trading a bunch of minifigures, but instead I bought a used UCS Razor Crest that was certified. And then I never had the space to build it, but I've always had the mentality of like, hey, if it's a really good deal, go ahead and buy it. Someday I'll either have the space for it or I can sell it for a profit and just be able to fund something else in my collection. And so I kept it for a while. I listed it on Facebook because Lego had an even crazier deal, and I got it for cheaper brand new through Lego.com than what I bought it for used. And then someone traded me basically all the original sets from like 2001, 2002. It's got like Zam's Speeder Chase and
2002.
Jar Jar on the K-2s and the Naboo Starfighter and all the oh my goodness, I'm blanking out on what they're called. The pod racers. I got all the pod racers, like Watto's Junkyard,
Great set.
all that just for the UCS Razor Crest. So it was about like a $350 trade up to a $800 trade. And that's the type of stuff that I thrive for when it comes to my collection. Like, it's so cool to say a story like that.
Well, Caleb, we brought it full circle at the end, and just want to say thank you for coming on and giving us your time. I'm glad we could establish that Rebels is better than Clone Wars and other important things. But yeah, where can people find you?
I guess thank you guys so much for having me on, and you can all find me at Blackwell Bricks, either on any social media. So YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Bricklink, you name it. Facebook, I'm on everything.
All right. Well, this has been a very fun time, and I'm really happy you came on, and we finally got to have a guest on. So yeah, this has been how does the outro go again?
It's different every time.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you for listening to the Where Are My Studs podcast. Just want to set a little reminder, though, for folks that we do take questions. If you have any questions for me and Aidan and possibly a guest, please DM them to our Instagram account, which is just Where Are My Studs. You can leave a comment on one of the posts anywhere on our social media, and there's a good shot we'll probably answer it. So yeah, I want to start doing that again. But hey, thanks for listening. This has been a good time. Bye.
Bye.